Hey, I'm Johnny Ritchie, and welcome to part 3 of 4 of the best of the Rockwell Chronicles. We've got a great show lined up for you guys, full of shenanigans and hijinks. In fact, we're going to take a look at some of the hijinks that we've had here at Rockwell Compound for the last couple years. As well, we're going to show you a story of one of Rockwell's original pioneers, Mr. Jed Mingo. The guy was an absolute stud, and you're going to see why. But coming up first, we're going to take a look at the best of winter sports. That's right, snowboarding and skiing at the highest level. We're going to take a look at the Dew Tour and then the Visa World Cup. It's going to be full of action, and you're not going to want to miss 1 second of it. It's all coming up next. So the Hurricane for Hope Big Air Show that took place in Park City, Utah features some of the world's best ski jumpers. These guys coming from all over the world to raise money for the Speedy Jarrett Foundation. And what that foundation does is help raise money for mental health research and development. And as you'll see in this clip, these guys are amazing, and they're all doing it for a great cause. So the FIST Freestyle World Cup event features the best freestyle skiers in the world. And basically what that means is these guys have to speed down the mountain as fast as they can, and at the same time they have to hit the different jumps and pull off the big tricks. So not only are you being judged on how fast you make it down the mountain, but also the sick tricks that you can pull. So with the Dew Tour being one of the largest action sports events in both summer and winter, anytime we had an opportunity to be a part of it, we would. We did make the custom watches for the Dew Tour, and we also got to sit really slope side and watch these winter athletes kill it. And with the ski half pipe and then also the snowboard slope style, some of the best were here to really prove their mettle and then hopefully walk away with the Rockwell watch. And these guys are high flying.
I'm getting closer to the edge. I'm begging you, don't push me, baby, 'cause I might just lose my head. I'm always thinking that they got me figured out. I don't think they really understand what I'm about. Peace, love, harmony, equality, sick of the monotony. Why is it gotta be? How can it for me to get free? Open your mind and you'll find the right thing. I'm dead to the end, sick of my friends, down in the gutter, I can't even pretend. How you gonna say you coming back? Tell me that you coming back, you're giving me a cardiac. Well, you don't know how to act. What you talking to me? You better get right. I'm about to lose my mind. I'm getting close.
Well, there you have it, some of the high-flying action from the best of the Rockwell winter sports. Guys, thanks again for all that you do, and we're looking forward to this upcoming winter. Right now, we're gonna go to commercial break, but when we get back, it's time to get a good laugh with all of the Rockwell crew and the hijinks and shenanigans that goes on behind the scenes.
I've been a type 1 diabetic since I've been 6 years old. It has made me a fighter, it has made me strong, but more importantly, I'm looking for a cure. But my friends at JDRF have my back. They are working night and day trying to find a cure for type 1 diabetes, and that would seriously rock. The good people at JDRF test themselves every day so that someday I won't have to. Your help really does help, and together we're going to find a cure. JDRF, improving lives, curing type 1 diabetes.
Accidents happen. And a lot of other things. For all your legal needs. One law.
Edge Products, the premier name for truck performance, brings you the Evolution CS and CTS line of tuners. Whether you're interested in fuel economy, towing, or performance, Edge Products will improve your vehicle's efficiency. Monitor vital engine data, customize your truck's performance, read and clear check engine lights, perform other diagnostics, and simplify trailering using Edge's backup camera. Visit www.tuneyourtruck.com to learn more about how Edge can enhance your drive.
Well, anytime the Rockwell crew gets together, whether it's on a long road trip or just here at the compound, we're gonna try to think up ways to entertain ourselves. Sometimes they're stupid and sometimes they're funny, but at the end of the day, we hope that it's entertaining. And as you'll see from some of the shenanigans and hijinks from the Rockwell crew.
So every year we go up to the Bear River Lodge, and Rich gets these cabins that his brother has, and they're super, super sick, super nice. Well, anyway, we go on this four-wheeler ride, and we're trucking along, and we get to the top of this mountain and come across this like lake, and the water is seriously like 50 degrees.
Swim over there. No. You can drown, I'm serious. Oh yeah. It's like ice water.
And Rich is like, hey, I will give anybody $100 if you swim across the lake.
I'm casually starting to kind of take my shoes off. Nobody really sees me or realizes that I'm gonna go for it. Taylor was like half naked, about to jump in, and I'm like, shoot.
But then out of nowhere, Bryce just comes flying in.
You get someone on the other side, so if they do start going under.
I couldn't even breathe. Like I was like, I'm so close. I want my $100.
Rich really didn't think anybody was gonna swim across the lake.
Or one way across. Did more swimming. How are you, chicken? Yeah!
Nice job,
Bryce
guys.
did some swimming.
Yeah, buddy.
Dude, I'm impressed.
Bryce, you swam farther.
I get to the other end, and Rich says, you guys are splitting the money.
So we each made 50 bucks, and now it makes for a good story.
And I was like, what?
Hello, watchers of Rockwell Chronicles. I'm here with Bryce, and we are in beautiful Washington, D.C.
Another shenanigan that took place was when we were at Ocean City, Maryland for Dew Tour last year. Before we even got to the event, we went around D.C., checked out all the monuments, got our American history on, saw the sights. It was a great day.
One of my favorite memories of that trip is Chad Kagi coming by the booth. Every time we go to an event like Dew Tour, we try and set up some type of an activation game. We picked up this like Angry Birds slingshot game.
Well, the whole day, no one could do it. It was near impossible. The ball was bouncing everywhere.
One of our athletes, Chad Kagi, came up out of nowhere. First try.
Ocean City Dew Tour, trying to do the Angry Birds Rockwell garbage can game for a chance to win a free Rocker Watch. Chad, let's see what you got, brother. I already like you. Yo! He doesn't need the 5, he's got it! Oh boy, it's Rockwell power right here, that's what happens.
As if we didn't know Chad Kagi was an athlete already, he has to walk up and just like dominate that game.
Slammed it home. Everyone was watching, and he killed it.
Skills. I know what time it is.
But it was awesome, and Chad's a great guy, and we're stoked to have him part of the team. Anytime you travel with Johnny Ritchie, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're gonna have a good time.
All the street musicians, man, they're awesome. And as we're walking back to the hotel, music to my ears, bagpipes.
We find this guy that is playing the bagpipe.
It's the bagpipers. Let's go this way real quick. There you go, the bagpipes are going.
So we're sitting here listening to the guy play the bagpipes, and I don't know what comes over me, but I start dancing as if I was from Scotland.
And Johnny's Irish. He got his little Irish little groove on. He's over there doing his little wiggle dance. And Bryce starts doing it too, but Bryce has no Irish style whatsoever. He's just, I don't know if he was doing I don't know what he was doing.
Taylor, he didn't think I was very Irish. Well, the ironic thing about that is the bagpipes actually come from Scotland, not from Ireland, so. For sure, one of the very best road trips we've ever been on was when we took the Maverick bus down to the Dallas Supercross race.
Lots of crazy shenanigans, but
The tire landed on somebody's name, and that person had to draw a challenge, for the lack of a better word, out of a hat.
What'd you get? 20 rubber bands around your face for 20 minutes.
Jim from Maverick had to draw out of the hat. He had to longboard down the street in his underwear. And
Longboard on a main road and your underbritches. I brought the longboard, so I guess it only makes sense, right?
Johnny had to go, ride like 30, 40 miles underneath, one of the cargo bins in the RV. So while Johnny was riding underneath for these 30, 40 miles, I had to draw my own challenge.
We figure since Johnny's down below right now, we might as well kill 2 challenges at the same time, so.
And I thought this was gonna be a breeze. So I start putting these headbands out on.
Chief, you killed me, bro.
Bryce put the rubber bands in his face. When I was filming that, I was dying.
Where's the camera? I think he actually looks better than he normally looks. He's pretty good looking.
He looked like Chunk from Goonies, like chocolate, chocolate.
Baby.
Anyway, I guess Taylor was saying that I looked like Chunk on the Goonies, but the ironic thing about that is Chunk was the fat chubby kid, and I really looked like Sloth. So I guess Taylor didn't get that one right either.
So the Rockwell Rockstars came to be on our journey home back to Utah from a 5-event tour in California.
Becky, look at her butt. It is so big.
Taylor and Max and I were really bored.
She looks like one of those rap guys' girlfriends.
We were tired of being in the Zag bus for days.
The best way to solve that boredom is to sing, and sing loudly, and dance a little bit as well.
I like big butts.
facts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. Now when a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get.
So we picked the best jams of the, I think just about the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and we went for it.
Let's go to the beach, each, let's go get a wave. They say what they gonna say. Have a drink, clink, found a Bud Light. Bad bitch like me, it's hard to come by.
And one by one, the rest of the crew, they arose from their sleep and joined.
And then you got Matt and Johnny and all them, and they're just super awkward.
Everybody sing. Super freak, super freak.
Staring at my heart when I'm with you, but when we are apart, I feel it too.
My favorite part of the video was definitely when we turn on Rihanna.
We found love in a hopeless place. My friend Tyson, he's got illy dance moves in it.
I can't even explain it. He's standing up and riding it and bouncing up and down.
So we made it happen, and we were still safe.
So if you guys have seen the Rockwell music video and you're watching this, stay tuned for the next one, boy.
Now don't tell me that's not some of the sweetest dance moves you've ever seen. Ripping it up on the Zag bus. Now we've got part 2 coming very, very soon. Hey, when we get back from commercial break, it's time to take things a little bit more serious, and we're gonna introduce you to Jed Mingo. He was a Rockwell original, the guy was a pioneer, and he really laid down the groundwork for what has become Rockwell time. Time presents the second annual long drive competition at the Lakeside Golf Course in West Bountiful, Utah, June 20th through the 22nd. Come watch the best long drivers in the world or see if you have what it takes to beat the pros. For more information, visit us at events.rockwelltime.com.
Meet Johnny, a professional stuntman. Even as a child, Johnny had a tendency to make extreme decisions. This tendency persisted as he got older. Johnny's behavior has given him a number of aches and pains over the years. He needs a doctor, but he's been down that road before. All to find out that Johnny needs an MRI. But wait, Johnny has an idea. A very good idea. Not that, Johnny. This. Johnny goes to USMRI, where the professionals quickly, accurately, and affordably identify Johnny's problem. Now he can get back to his thrills with no fear. Call now and save up to 75% off of hospital prices.
McGee's Elite, your one-stop shop for trophies, awards, engraving, and sports memorabilia. You name it, we can frame it. Team apparel, signed posters, music memorabilia, awards, custom engraving, Rockwell watches, and everything in between. Check us out on Facebook or visit us at one of our 2 Utah locations. Remember, if you name it, we can frame it here at McGee's Elite.
Accidents happen. And a lot of other things. For all your legal needs, one law.
Welcome back to the best of the Rockwell Chronicles. I am your host, Johnny Ritchie. And coming up next was one of my favorite pieces from the past that we've done. We did a story on Jed Mingo. And Jed Mingo was one of the original Rockwell time members. That's right, he used to drive the semi, and he was just an all-around great guy. He loved to travel, and he loved to fly planes. And as you'll see, pretty heartbreaking story, but personally, one of my favorites.
My handle on the CB's JR.
Yep.
And I've been driving since I was probably 10 years old. I was raised on a farm, so my dad put me in the tractor and the truck right from the get-go. I live in Salt Lake City, and I met a guy named Rich Agate. He's with Kingdom, really familiar in the motocross crowd.
He pulled up one day to the shop, this very shop we're sitting in, and he said, "Hey, I need some space to rent. I've got a trucking company."
And I rented an office from Rich. He has a big yard in Salt Lake. I parked my trucks there, and I just noticed that he had a show trailer one day, and I asked him about it, and we hooked up.
And I said, well, we could probably rent you an office and get something done. And
last May, he needed a driver, so he called me and said, "Hey, do you know anybody, or would you be willing to drive?" So I said, sure.
And so he came in, he set up shop, and then I never saw him again for 3 months.
He would be gone for 3 months on a trip, any old time.
My business at home gives me freedom. I'm self-employed.
And being self-employed meant that he didn't work for anybody. He worked for him.
And I kept trying to get a hold of him.
Sometimes that meant other people had to wait and be patient with Jed.
Yeah, Rich says we would disappear sometimes, but you know what? We work hard, but we play even harder.
He would fly across the U.S. with his grandfather in the plane and stop in every state they could and see the sights. If he went to Europe, he wanted to snowboard the Alps. If he went to Australia, he wanted to skydive and surf.
Finally, I find out that he and a group of guys had taken off and gone to Africa.
He went to Africa, he'd hold orphans.
They would come back, they would do a little trucking, get some money, and take back off and go to Brazil.
He went to Carnival because the first time there was on his mission, and the second time there, he wanted to have a little bit different kind of fun.
South Africa, Brazil, we like to have fun.
Jed was just a crazy go-get-him type of guy.
I only plan on doing 2 races with him until we found a driver to fill in. We clicked, and so I ended up doing the whole outdoor season.
I waited 9 years for him to settle down, and it was worth the wait. It was worth every minute.
My passion is flying. I love to fly. On the farm, my grandpa had an airplane too. It was the coolest thing. And I was like the only grandson that was interested in it, and so he would always take me flying. He had an old vintage plane called a Navion. They were built back in the 40s and 50s. Taught me how to fly it. We would fly up to his dry farm and all over. And my goal is to be involved more in flying as a career, and so who knows, maybe in motocross we'll have a Honda Jet and I'll fly all the riders around.
Jed wanted to create a Rockwell pilot program, and he had an airplane, and we were going to buy a helicopter.
I have a dirt runway on the farm back in Idaho, and I came in one night. The runway's not lighted, so I'll have my uncle or my dad or somebody that's home run the pickup down and shine the lights on the runway so I can see. I have good landing lights, big spotlights, that light it up pretty good, but I came in one night and my perception was a little off, and I probably dropped the plane a good 15, 20 feet and bounced it, but I still made it out of it, but it was scary. I don't want to do that again.
A couple weeks later, he and his dad and brother were going on a fishing trip together, and they never came home. The night before he left for the trip, we were laying there talking about the mess in my room and what a nightmare it would be if something happened to me, if I died and he had to clean out my room. And I asked, what would you do if I died with all this stuff? And he said, well, I'd keep it, it's my stuff. But honestly, if you died, I'd follow you home. I would go with you. And I said, that's awful, I would hope not. And he said, it's not because I'm dramatic, it's because I've been able to do so much in my life and see everything I ever wanted to see. And I lived so much life, and I lived it to the fullest. And it would be okay with me to go home after that. And it means a lot to me that I got to hear him say those words. They went down in the mountains over Oregon together in the plane. I'll never forget sitting there on the porch that day we found the plane with JB. We knew it had been found. We hadn't received word on the guys, but we both knew, and we sat on the porch for like an hour with my head on his shoulder and didn't say anything. He used to say, if I have to go, that's how I want to go. And I didn't appreciate that very much, but, and it was a little soon, but he got to go how he wanted to. There's a spirit in aviation that comes from harnessing what Jed called a high law and power. His headstone says that.
And so we ended up going to the next best thing to Jed and one of his good guys, and it was JB.
Unfortunately, I lost a good buddy of mine that day, and it's more like a big brother to me. So I figured, why not a better way to step in his shoes and start driving the truck for Rockwell.
And I'm so glad that JB is still involved, that JB took over for Jed, because that's what Jed wanted. That's why Jed taught us all to drive, and it's a great way to keep the family together, is to keep that Rockwell family together.
The loss of Jed Mingo was a real tragedy here at Rockwell Time, and he will never be forgotten. Whether it was his crazy antics or the fact that the guy lived life to the fullest, he's one of our favorites, and he always will be. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Rockwell Chronicles each and every week, and remind you that we're doing fun events all throughout the state of Utah, and the best way to find out about those events, well, just head on over to rockwelltime.com. For everyone here at the compound, I'm Johnny Ritchie. I want to thank you again for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Ain't gonna happen. Not today.
Yeah, it's talent, bro.